Hello friends, welcome to English Shorthand class. Ready? 1, 2, 3, start. Economic differences. When the G7 summits began in the mid-1970s, the heads of states sought to resolve economic differences related to exchange rate policy, growth, inflation, energy policy, among others, and this set the stage for multilateral trade arrangements and negotiations with the European Union and Japan assuming greater responsibilities on multilateral issues along with the US. Interestingly, the consensus among these nations, especially in the 1990s, to promote policies for the ease of flow of multinational capital and a concomitant reduction in expansive welfarism by the states set the tone for the tax competition among states, which went on to benefit MNCs. As the summits progressed, the emphasis on economic issues remained salient and endured, but the heads of states began to prioritize other matters as well, especially after the end of the Cold War, the environment, debt relief for developing countries, and the strains on globalization. Terrorism also became a key agenda for discussion and action. The G7 also became the G8 with Russia's admission into the group in 1998 despite its limited national wealth compared to the other countries. The G8 reverted to the G7 again in 2014 following Russia's expulsion after its annexation of Crimea. The Cornwall Summit includes invitees in heads of state from outside the G7 as well, Australia, South Korea, and India, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi set to attend it remotely. The presence of these three countries is seen as a nod to the recognition of their discontent with the influence of China, which persists with what the West believes is an anachronistic single-party regime but is also an economic superpower. In the summit, G7 leaders unveiled the Build Back Better World project, which pledges hundreds of billions of infrastructure investment in low and middle income countries based on values driven, high standard and transparent partnerships. It is seen as a counterweight against China's multi-billion-dollar Belt and Road Initiative. While UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has sought to hail the traditional transatlantic ties with the US and a revival of their mutual role in setting the multilateral tone for G7 and beyond, the Brexit issue has cast a shadow over their ties. Mr. Biden, unlike Mr. Trump, had steadfastly opposed Brexit, and his advisers have raised concerns over the Britain's dispute with the EU over Northern Ireland, Mr. Johnson might be pressed to make concessions to address such concerns. Global health. More significantly, though, the G7's declaration on global health, in which they commit to resources to quickly develop and license vaccines, medicines, and diagnostics for future diseases, is an important step that recognizes the havoc that COVID-19 has wrought across the world and the need to prepare for future epidemics. Mr. Johnson has said he wishes for the entire world to be vaccinated by 2022, but has not specified details as to how this can be achieved. If the summit manages to agree to substantially extend vaccine availability for low-income countries, that would be a great achievement. After all, the disparity in vaccine availability, with the US and EU cornering vaccines far more than what their populations need, while other countries, India and those in Africa, are hampered by shortages, is a consequence of the water kick turned during the Trump period. If the G7 seeks to revive its multilateral emphasis in the spirit of globalization, addressing the vaccine disparity will truly take it forward from the crux of Trumpism.